Magic Treehouse Book Number 8, Blizzard of the Blue Moon, by Mary Poe Osborne. Chapter 3, Lost in Central Park. Jack and Annie kept walking until they came to Ice Pond again. "We've been here before," said Jack. "We're going in circles. How do we get out of the park?" "Let's try to walk in a straight line," said Annie. And Jack struggled on. Jack kept looking back, trying to catch sight of Teddy and Kathleen again, but it was getting harder and harder to see anything. Wet Snow kept sticking to his glasses. Snow had blown up the sleeve of his jacket, under his neck scarf, and into his mittens. "Yikes!" said Annie. She grabbed Jack's arm. "Look!" A huge wolf-like dog stood on a ledge above them, his mouth wide open. "Whoa!" said Jack. The dog didn't move. He stood perfectly still. Annie laughed. "Oh, he's a statue," she said. She ran to the plaque under the dog's statue and brushed off the snow and shouted to Jack, "His name is Plato. In 1925, he carried medicine 600 miles through a blizzard in Alaska." "That's really great," said Jack. "But how did we get out of this park?" "Well, if we follow this path, it's bound to lead somewhere," said Annie. Jack followed Annie up a wide path. They walked and walked past the snow-covered outdoor stage and they fell to the statue of an angel. Raising her outspread wings, the angel seemed about to fly away. "Which way now?" said Jack. Two paths led the way from the angel fountains. One to the right, one to the left. "I don't know," said Annie. "Pick one." Jack headed to the left. Annie followed. They passed a frozen lake and walked over an arched bridge. Jack kept his eyes on the ground and walked and walked and walked. Every time he lifted his head, snow felt like needles against his skin. Jack tried to keep walking a straight line, but the path they were following began twisting around like a maze. Different paths branched off, curving this way to that. Jack remembered information from the research book. The park has 32 miles of winding footpaths. "We have to get out of these paths," he shouted to Annie, "or we'll be lost in Central Park forever." Anne didn't answer. "Annie?" Jack shouted, his face from the cutting window looked back. He didn't see her. Jack turned around looking for Annie, but he couldn't see anything. The road was completely white. "Annie!" he cried. Had she gone off another path? Was she lost? Annie! She could wander around in the storm for hours, said Jack. She could freeze to death. I have to find her. Jack tried to stay calm. He took a few breaths. A rhyme, he thought. He couldn't remember which magic rhymes was left. He struggled to unbuckle his briefcase. His fingers were frozen. He pulled out the book and hunched it over, trying to shelter it from the storm. He wiped his glasses off and read, "Turn into ducks. That won't help. Pull a cloud from the sky. That will only make things worse. Find a treasure you must never lose." Is Annie a treasure? Jack wondered. He always thought of a treasure as something super valuable, like gold or silver or real jewels. But right now, Annie seemed more valuable than any of those things. She seemed like the most valuable thing in the world. Jack found the rhyme and shouted, "Treasure forever, must never be lost. Immortal cow, immortal boast." "Jack!" Jack roared around. Annie was standing right behind him. "There you are," she said. "I was afraid you got lost." "I wasn't lost," said Jack. "You were lost." He stepped the rhyme book back into his bare face. "Not me, you," said Annie. "Whatever," said Jack. "Just stay near me now." He took her hand and gripped it tightly. "Okay, let's figure out what to do." Wait, is that a castle over there? said Annie. A what? said Jack. A castle. Look. Peering through the storm, Jack saw a small castle standing on top of a snowy hill. A light burned in the window. A castle in Central Park, Jack said. That's weird. Let's go see if anyone's inside, said Annie. Maybe they can help us. People in the castle might know about unicorns, or at least know how to get out of the park, said Jack. Jack and Annie struggled up the stone steps that led to the castle. At the top of the steps, Jack glanced back at the park. He could barely make out two figures in the snow, one in a dark cape and one in a raincoat. Them, it's them, said Jack. A cloud of wind-driven snow blew over the couple. Jack kept looking, eager for another glimpse of the two young enchantresses, but the snow hid everything in sight. They'll find us, said Annie. Come on. She pushed the door to the castle and led the way inside. The door slammed shut behind them. Jack and Annie stood in the dimly lit hallway. Hello, who's there? A man called. Jack and Annie, shouted Annie. A tall, thin man came down the curving stone stairway. He wore an old-fashioned blue striped suit. Goodness, 2 children, he said. What are you doing here on a day like today? We got lost in the park, said Jack. My name's Jack and this is my sister, Annie. Pleased to meet you. I'm Bill Parkins, said the man. Welcome to Belvedere Castle. What is this place? asked Annie. The castle was built in 1869, said Mr. Perkins. It was meant to be a delightful surprise for one wanderer in the park. Today is a delightful surprise with a nature observatory and weather instruments inside. Weather instruments? said Jack. Yes, I've come from the U.S. Weather Bureau to check them, said Mr. Perkins. I'm afraid right now our data is telling us that the weather is undergoing a rapid and a terrible change. Jack shivered and stamped closest. Our data is telling us the same thing, he said. The storm has blown it from the Midwest, bringing wind and snow, said Mr. Perkins. But after nightfall, things will get worse. Another storm is coming from the south, gathering speed on its way. That sounds serious, said Annie. It's worse than serious, Mr. Perkins said. It's disastrous. After dark, the two systems will meet and create a monster blizzard. It could be the worst in New York history, even worse than the blizzard of '88. Jack caught his breath. Poor New York, said Annie. Ah, yes, it's the last thing our great city needs during these hard times, said Mr. Perkins, shaking his head. Excuse me, but I have a question, said Annie. Do you know if there's a full moon tonight? Well, yes, there is, said Bill Perkins. You won't see it though, not through those storm clouds. Actually, it'll be the second full moon this month. A blue moon, said Annie. You're exactly right. A blue moon indeed, said Mr. Perkins. I have another question, said Annie. Do you know where we can find any unusual animals? Jack and Chuck on public display somewhere in New York City? Well, your best bet in New York could be Bronx Zoo, said Mr. Perkins. They display all kinds of animals from all over the world. Great, said Annie. How do you get there? What? You can't go to the zoo today, said Mr. Perkins. Not in this storm. No, of course not, said Jack quickly. But we ever decide to go to the zoo in the future, how will we get there? Well, the best way will be to take the West Side Earth, said Mr. Perkins. What's that? said Jack. The subway lines that runs up the west side, said Mr. Perkins. The number 2 train on the line will take you to Bronx Zoo. Oh, great, thanks for everything, said Jack. We better get going now. He and Annie started to the door. Wait, there's a telephone upstairs. Let me Ring up your parents. Perhaps they can come and get you, said Mr. Perkins. Well, said Annie. We haven't left for very long. We don't have a telephone yet. She's right, said Jack. That's not far from where we live. We just need to get out of the park to the street. To the west side, said Annie. Yeah, to the west side, said Jack. Can't tell us how to get there from here? Certainly. Mr. Perkins opened the door, when a snow blast and pointed to the right. Cross the terrace and then walk down the stairs to a path. That path will take you out of the park to 81st Street. He said, hurry home now. We will, said Jack. Thanks a lot, Mr. Perkins, said Annie, and she and Jack headed back out into the blizzard.